Hello everybody and welcome to Bakes by Vasco. I'm Michelle with 1L and I'm glad you're here. I was a professional musician for over 25 years. I never cooked, I had no interest in it, anything at all. Once in a great while I'd bake with my mom, but that was about it. And then I became a mom and I had to feed and keep a child alive. And I managed to cook enough things and bake from a box very easily. But when I retired from music, the only thing that I was qualified to do was food service because of being a stay-at-home mom all those years. So I was hired with no experience whatsoever to make donuts for a local chain, and I fell in love with it. My OCD was just so satisfied because of every step-by-step procedure, and it ignited a passion in me that I had lost when I had given up music. So it gave me something else to share with the world. I started baking for the crew my husband worked with as an incentive and became known as the cookie lady, and it just kind of progressed from there. So all that being said, today I'm going to show you how to make a simple baked donut yourself at home with a few simple ingredients. All right, what you're going to need for this recipe is 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 6 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 4 tablespoons of yogurt, just plain non-fat yogurt, 2 tablespoons of milk, 1 egg, a half a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 tablespoon of butter melted. And you want all of your cold ingredients to be room temperature and your butter to be cooled but still melted. Now, you will need a donut pan for this to work out, and they are available at Walmart, Target, anywhere you shop, even on Amazon. I got lucky enough to be given my first one by my husband because he knew how much I loved to do this, and then I bought a few more online. And I use butter flavored spray to keep mine from sticking, and everything is better with sprinkles. So at the end of this, we got some cute little llamas. First thing you're going to want to do then is preheat your oven to the universal temperature of 350 degrees. Now we'll come over here and you're going to take your dry ingredients, which is your 1 cup of flour, your 6 tablespoons of sugar, and your 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and whisk those together so they're incorporated and not lumpy. No pockets of any one thing or another. And then you're just going to set that aside for a minute. Now, I'm going to use my hand mixer today. And first thing you're going to want to do is, in a nice clean bowl with clean hands, is take your 4 tablespoons of yogurt. It's room temperature, so it'll fall out of there real easily. Your 2 tablespoons of milk, your tablespoon of melted butter that is cooled, and 1 large egg. Then you're just going to mix these together on low. You want to get that mixed just until it's smooth. Now, you take your dry ingredients and just very simply add that to your wet. And mix it on low. And there you go. You got a kind of thick batter, so I'm going to grab a tiny little rubber spatula and scoop out the rest of that yogurt just to make sure there's enough in there. And there you go. Donut batter. Now, give the oven a few minutes to preheat here, and we'll get these bad boys loaded into their donut cavities. Even the best bakers make an oops. As I was clearing things away to move the donut pans over to get them ready, I realized I forgot a half a teaspoon of vanilla. Give that one more little mix. And there you go. Now, the batter's ready. All right, the oven's preheated. I have all of the batter loaded in my handy dandy little tool that if you saw the red velvet cupcakes video, you've seen. This is for frosting and other things, and we're going to make it work for donut batter because it's kind of a struggle sometimes to get your donuts uniform in these little round cavities. But here's your donut pan. Here's your spray. I use butter spray, and you make sure you just are very generous because you don't want it to stick. Now, just like a caulk gun, you squeeze the trigger, and out comes a perfect little circle. And then you just repeat that. This is a small batch recipe, so you may get a dozen donuts out of this, but if I remember last time I did it correctly, there were about 9. That's just about perfect for a Saturday morning with your kids at home or some weekend evening when you and your friends are hanging out and you want a treat. And there we go. They look about even to me. Maybe add just a little bit more over here. So this one's a little skinny. All right. Give them a quick tap. Annoy the neighbors below you. And they're ready for the oven. Center rack, 350 degrees. And then you want those to bake between 8 and 10 minutes until they're golden brown. The timer just went off, so let's get a toothpick, open this up, check them. They look beautiful. And the center test's clean. So let's carefully pull those out. And we'll set them over here on the cooling rack for just a minute. And I managed to get 3 more. So we'll put those in. Center rack, 350 for another 9 minutes. Now, make sure you have pot holders. And you want to come over here and turn these out onto the cooling rack. Then carefully flip over so you don't have too many lines. And just let those pretty little babies sit there and cool off. And then we will make a glaze for them when they are ready. The donuts are now cooled and they are ready to be decorated, frosted, however you want to eat them. You can eat them plain. We like a little glaze, and I love sprinkles. I'm kind of addicted, have quite a large collection, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to start today with 1 cup of simple powdered sugar. And to that, I'm going to start with just 2 tablespoons of milk and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I prefer Mexican vanilla because it has a much richer, stronger flavor. Doesn't taste artificial at all. But you can use whatever you want. This is what I prefer. And then I'm just going to get my hand mixer again and turn it on low and just blend these together. And he's ready for donuts. Now, grab them from behind Eric, my husband, my cameraman. Ta-da! Aren't they pretty? We ended up getting 9 donuts out of that batch. 9 is my lucky number, my favorite number. That's the month we got married. So this is really easy. Clean hands. Take your donut. Dip it in the top. Let it drizzle off. There you go. Put it back on the rack. The hole will empty itself. And then you just do that 9 times. All right. Now all those are ready for llama sprinkles. You have tiny llamas in there. Aren't they the cutest thing? I saw them on the shelf at the store, and I put them in the cart like a little kid who grabs things off the shelf. And my husband got to the checkout and he goes, "What's this?" Llamas. So I just pour some out, and then while your glaze is wet, just be generous, because one of my mottos in life: everything's better with sprinkles. I said that to a gentleman that was one of my customers at the place I made donuts at. And he said, "Well, can I have a big old vat of them for my wife? Do you think that'll make her sweeter?" You can try. Until the glaze is starting to harden, because they don't want to stick as bad. So do that relatively quickly. I'm messing around because I'm having fun and I'm showing you guys how to do it. All right. Put those back in there. Stick a llama on that guy. And a llama on that guy. And there you go. Simple baked donuts you can make yourself at home. Once again, this is Bakes by Vasco, and I'm Michelle with 1L. Thank you again for joining me and making simple baked donuts. As always, the best part of the baking is the eating. Perfect. Have a great day, everybody.